welcome back to the Road to Episode 7, my ongoing series where I chart the road to the release of Star Wars Episode 7 in 2015, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the ruined production date, the start date for filming and production of Star Wars Episode 7, and also the standalone movies that will be released every year in between the main episodic Star Wars films. Now first I've just got to get my notes up because there's so many notes that I've been keeping recently. I need to find out what it is. Okay, so on the heels of the news that Star Wars might not be hitting theatres until Christmas 2015 comes the story that production will be starting very early in 2014. To this point we knew the latest chapter in the George Lucas saga would have to start filming next year, but if Latino Reviews sources to be believed, that date will in fact be January 21st, 2014. Quite specific, but maybe that's for a reason. If production begins in January, that means that J.J. Abrams and Lucasfilm have just 4 months to have the principal cast in place to begin shooting in the UK at the start of next year. That is good news because we should be hearing we should begin hearing who will star in the new trilogy sooner rather than later. This would also mean there's a good chance there could be some footage or a teaser for Episode 7 in time for next year's San Diego Comic-Con, or even attached to the beginning of Avengers Age of Ultron. On May 1st. Hang on. Attached at the beginning of the Avengers. That's so far into the future. We'll definitely have a trailer by then. At least a teaser, I would imagine. But yeah, but before we get too ahead of ourselves, this could also mean a summer 2015 release is not out of reach. But it's still incredibly unlikely that Disney would put their two biggest franchises against each other. A production starting in January would still have plenty of time for post-production to hit the following summer. Either way, Star Wars is getting closer and closer. I didn't even think about that until I just read it out loud now. May 1st is when the Avengers Age of Ultron comes out. If they release Star Wars Episode 7 in May also, they're fucked. Because one of those films is going to take the hit. I don't know who. I don't know if Star Wars can kind of ride its history and worldwide popularity to beat the juggernaut that is the Avengers and the Marvel movies right now, because they're just on such a roll. I mean, Iron Man 3 made like over $1 billion. Avengers 2 is gonna be one of the biggest money takers of all time, I'm sure. There's no signs of it not happening, so maybe a later release for Star Wars Episode 7 is a better idea in the long run, because I mean, for me, I don't really care how much money it makes, but the more money it makes, the more successful it is, the more money they can pour into making the later ones and making them even better. You would think anyway. So the second thing I want to talk about was the individual standalone movies. At an investors conference yesterday in Beverly Hills, and this was about a week or so ago, Disney Chief Financial Officer Jay Rasulo was on hand to talk about how, what? Yes, individual Star Wars movies. Can you believe it? I know, don't get that excited, it's a while away yet. Yeah, calm down. He talked about how the company wants to expand the Star Wars brand and revealed that the upcoming standalone films will be origin stories. According to Variety, he also said that a Star Wars trilogy film or an origin story film will be released each year, starting with Episode 7 in 2015. We already knew this, now it's official. We're going to get Episode 7 in 2015. 2016 we're going to get a standalone Star Wars movie. 2017 we're going to get Episode 8. 2018 we're going to get another standalone film. 2019, I believe, we'll be getting Star Wars Episode 9. Episode 9, Jesus Christ. I really hope that this is a good trilogy, because, yeah, I'm going to do a video soon talking about the whole history of the sequel trilogy, by the way, because there's a lot of kind of history there, and I'd love to just delve into it and do like a really long video about it. But that'll be, I've got plenty of time to cover that. So yeah, and again, as it says here, just look at the timeline that we saw back in June that was basically rumoured. He also called Star Wars an evergreen property, and this market is extremely hot for everything Star Wars, he said. Some are concerned that since Disney owns Star Wars, the films could end up being too kid-friendly, but he said this is not a new franchise for kids. Doesn't mean we're going to see an R-rated Star Wars anytime soon, but it does sound like Disney isn't aiming it just at children when it comes to the new Star Wars film. And I would gather that anyway. You got J.J. Abrams on board, yeah, I doubt that we'd be seeing like a really kind of not toned down, but like a really kind of kid-friendly film. Meanwhile, Bleeding Cool has heard that one of these standalone origin films might be for Han Solo. We heard this as well. And Disney has been looking for an actor for the role the past few months, while they've also been casting Episode 7. No word on which actors may have already read for the role. We probably won't know for some time, since there's so much secrecy around the Star Wars films. Star Wars Episode 7 should still be arriving in theatres 2015, and if true, the Han Solo Origins movie could be the planned 2016 Origins film. Again, it was mentioned that maybe there would be a Yoda film, which I think would be great. I think they should do it soon, because, you know, Frank Oz is getting on. By no means is he ancient, but, you know, you couldn't do it without Frank Oz, I don't think. But that'd be great, you know. I personally loved the digital Yoda in Episode 2, and particularly Episode 3. I think they did just such an amazing job with that character. Of course, I prefer the puppet. I always do. It's more tangible, it's more real, but I would still love to see a Yoda movie. That'd be great. I don't know, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe the character would lose some of its charm if you were kind of with him the whole time. I don't know. Han Solo, you know, they'd really have to cast that right. They'd really have to cast that right. But I'd definitely be interested in seeing it, you know. But it'd definitely be weird seeing, like, you know, Star Wars, Han Solo Origins, you know. It's like, oh god, flashbacks to Wolverine. You know, I remember when X-Men Origins Wolverine was announced, it just sounded so awesome, and it just, you know, I like X-Men Origins Wolverine, but it really missed the mark for the most part. So, yeah, let's hope that we won't get another debacle like that for a Han Solo movie. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.